Hey, how are you? Welcome back to Red Shoes Diary, and I hope it's been an excellent week. I hope that you've had a good time. I hope you've seen family, friends, loved ones. I hope you got to get outside. I hope wherever you're at, you had this kind of weather. The temperature's dropped, but it's just awesome fall weather. Today it's awfully windy, so hopefully I get this through before the wind comes flying through the barn again. Down here, another part of the barn setting here, and got a few things I need to go check out and do, but nothing major. I don't get it done. Somebody else come along, remember to do it one of these days, so it ain't gonna matter. Hopefully, though, you're fat and sassy, wandering around, talk to friends and family, and more important, I hope you talk to the good Lord this week. And if you ain't had time to talk to Him, make time. You know, you ever stop to think, Jesus was born in a manger, about like this. It's part of a barn. Which, their place over there is different to ours, but still, he was there. And so, don't ever think good Lord ain't wherever you're at. You know, well, you're riding down the road, you standing up in the middle of the woods, sitting in an old house, maybe riding a piece of equipment down through a field. Or maybe sitting in the middle of a big old boardroom that the people in there is about ready to drive you crazy. Who knows? Maybe you're in a factory. But good Lord's always listening, folks. It don't matter. I was thinking this week, I have to tell this on my granddaughter. She's a pistol at this. She just turned 3 just a little over a month ago. And this past weekend, we went down to a fall festival. This town has this fall festival. And there's quite a few, I'd say several thousand come through. I think it's about a 3-day festival. Several thousand each day comes through. Beautiful area where they hold it at. Here comes the wind. And, good weather, great company. Me and my daughter, granddaughter, and what would be my granddaughter's great grandmother, my daughter's grandma. But anyway, we wandered around singing. She's already negotiating. She's really good at negotiating. Mommy, I want a toy. Well, you can have one toy. Okay. And she just, can I take this in? Can I take it in? Well, before it's over with, I think I had a pocket full of some kind of little old critters about this big. I had about 4 or 5 in my pocket I was carrying around, so she didn't lose them. But we went in, wandered around. We got us something to eat, and went walking through, the spaces, the stall areas you wander around. Mommy, I like to have a toy. Well, you just have to wait. We ain't found you nothing yet. Well, we got down to one aisle, and she's seen something. She says, come here. Maybe you'll find something here. Well, they go in. Sure enough, this lady had hand crocheted some different little old doll stuff, and she had one. She's really into the princesses right now, like Ariel and can't think the other one's name right now, off Frozen. But she found one, little mermaid. I believe she's Ariel. Anyway, about yay high, about 4 inches tall. Oh, Mom, I like this one. Well, is that one you want? Yep, that's the one I want there, Mama. All right. I don't know what it costed, but she paid for it. She's talking. Well, look, and there's some large ones. I don't know, might have been a foot tall, whatever she crocheted. Oh, look, there's bigger ones. Of course, your daughter's going, well, now you done picked out one. I said one. Okay, Mommy. She looked at it, and I couldn't help but get tickled. She turns around before she starts to leave. She looks at them ladies. Now, the confidence of a 3-year-old is amazing. She just turns around, looks at them ladies, and goes, now, the next time I come back, I'll probably buy the bigger one the next time. When I come back, I'll get the big one. And them women got tickled laughing. I'm sure they're trying to figure out this kid. Here she is. If you look at her, you're going to think she's older. She's wearing 5T clothes, so she's big as a 5-year-old, but she's 3. But if you listen to her and her actions, it's hard to put that age line, her size, and her attitude. She's definitely a little bossy, breechy little thing. But yeah, I know one thing though. Next year we go back and everything works well, and she remembers that. And we get around there and that lady's there. She's got them big Ariel dolls, whatever. If she wants one, guarantee you Papa's buying that. Because if she can hang on to that memory for a year from 3 to 4 year olds, still remember that, and want that, well, I, Papa will get that for her. I can't help but not get it for her. But what is it? My daughter calls her the three-nagers. She's 3 going on a teenager. Sometimes I think her mama was a lot like that when she was growing up. A whole lot like that, a whole lot like. But I think her daughter's just a little more stubborn than she was. I'm beginning to think. So at least it should be interesting. And later, I guess Sunday went to church and we got talking there, and the guys teaching the Sunday school class. We got to talk about hanging on to anger and being offended and like maybe going to a church and somebody says something you don't agree with and makes you aggravated or angry, and next thing you know, you ain't going to church just because of that, because you're hanging on to it. Well, we got talking about that, how different ones, and like I told them, I said, stop and think. A house divided cannot stand. And especially in church house, things get said sometimes out of wrong context, sometimes just stuff that's just silly in some ways. And people take high offense to it. They believe they're on the higher, the moral end of it. But next thing you know, they ain't going. Or other people, they're telling other people, well, the church starts separating. Because of that. We're not always going to agree, folks. You can't. We're humans. And that's just simple as this. And each one of us is accountable to the good Lord for whatever happens. Whatever we do, it's our responsibility. It's ours when our time's died. God ain't going to judge me on my mom or daddy's sin, or my daughters, or whatever. He's going to judge me for what I've done, what I put out in this world. And sometimes, I know it's easy to hang on to anger. I hung on to anger for almost 4 years. And I shouldn't have, but I did. And, that's my fault. It wasn't nothing to do with churches, other stuff, but still I hung on to that for a long time. Aggravated about it. Shouldn't have been, no, should have let it go, but that's my fault. But in that part of us that wants to hang on to that, sometimes that's the old devil on your shoulder whispering in your ear. Yeah, you should put up with that. Yeah, you shouldn't go there. Nah, they said that. There's no reason you go back. They owe you the apology. Well, a lot of times people are not going to come back to apologize to you, folks. They're not. A lot of times people don't even know that they offended you because you don't speak out, because nobody goes and talks to them. Passage of Bible says somebody offends you, like in a church or whatever. Go to that person individually and talk to them. See if you can figure out what the problem is. Then also tells you to, if that don't satisfy, go to the elders and speak with them and see if you can all talk to this person. Find out what's going on. I don't know. But the reality is we allow a lot of stuff come between us and blessings. We're so busy, especially as you get older, it's easier to be more offended, I think. I see a lot of older folks being more offended about stuff, I think. And a lot of the younger ones, they are taught that, which is sad. We're supposed to, as we get older, mellow out, become wiser, do better. I don't know, sometimes it looks like we fail at that. I always do, me. But hopefully you won't listen to that little fella on your shoulder and warn you shouldn't do this, you go at and get you separated. Maybe from your church family, maybe from your own personal family. You're hanging on to this stuff for so long, maybe you need to let that go. Find a way to forgive them. Whatever you need to do, find some peace in your life. Talk to the good Lord. Ask Him to help you find that peace. Because life's too short, folks. Way, way, way too short. To hang on to a grudge, to hang on to this, to listen to that old devil in the ear whispering, how much perfect you are, how great you are, how you this, how you that, how they offend you, how they done wrong by you. And You don't need to go there. You know, it ain't no reason to go to church there no more. You don't go to no church there all like that. You hang on to that, folks, you ain't never going to make it. All you're doing is destroying yourself, and you listen to the Father of all lies, and he's going to put you away from everybody else. And you get away from all them, you're going to get away from your Lord because you hang on to that anger. I think there's a prayer in there that talks about, I forgive those, give me my trespasses. I forgive those that trespass against me. Sometimes that's the hardest part. He said, if you can't forgive them, why should I forgive you? Sometimes let go of that, people. Let go of the anger, the hate, shortcomings. Try to find some peace in your life. Try to find some happiness, joy. If you could spend all that time finding something to be angry about, finding something to be dissatisfied about, be just irritable all the time, or treat people that way. Oh, I'm upset. Everybody's got to be upset. Why don't you turn it around? Why don't you take time to find the good that's in your life? Find stuff to be happy about, smiling about. Because trust me, people walking around you, if they see you smiling and happy, most of the time that will help lighten their day. Something simple as that. Hey, good day, how are you? So if you find time to be angry all the time, find time to be bloody happy, people. Because we only got this one ride to get through. This is only a temporary home, folks. So why not make the best that way here? Anyway, that's words from down here in the end of the barn. See the head gate behind us. Run cattle through. But hay over here behind me. Maybe it's just simple man's thinking, or as I used to do, a country boy cipher down here in the barn. Anyway, folks, I hope you have an excellent week. Hope you take time to talk to the good Lord. I hope that you make time. Friends, family, loved ones, for the good Lord. Find a little peace in your life. Maybe take time to find a little forgiveness for others. Forgive your own self for being so angry for so long. Sometimes that start to forgive others means you got to forgive yourself. But that also means you got to take responsibility and accountability. That's a hard pill to swallow, folks. Anyway, I'll get off here. As always, may the good Lord take a liking to you, but not too soon. And y'all be careful out there. Austin.